Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Avatara varishtaya Ramakrishna Yate Namah Asato ma sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Asato ma sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Pratyormamritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us pray to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate, to remove all our ignorance, to light the lamp of knowledge, to lead us to immortality. Let us offer our love and devotion and salutations to Him. Today's topic, I am speaking on the importance of austerity. One reason for very irregular way of life and disharmony is because we are not practicing certain amount of discipline in life. Discipline is austerity. You must love to be disciplined. Then you will know the immense value of austerity. Austerity is power. If you want to enjoy the real power of the true self, if you have to realize the glory of your own Atman, you will have to hold on to austerity. So great things are done through austerity. So it's very important for us to know the significance of this. In Raj Yoga, Patanjali Maharshi says very clearly, Tapaswadhyaya Ishvara Pranidhana. The first important discipline to be followed to practice Kriya Yoga is tapas. All our spirituality, all our religion starts with tapas. Tapas has got tremendous effect upon our system. It purifies, it burns all the impurities that are on our way. So, we should start this practice of austerity from the beginning. Every day we will have to have some kind of discipline in doing the things. Particularly, each one is given most wonderful body, most wonderful senses, most wonderful mind. What a fine equipment each one has been given by the all-gracious God. To use the equipment properly, you need discipline, you need austerity. So, once you learn to control yourself, meaning controlling your senses, controlling your body, controlling your mind, then you will achieve the goal of freedom, the abode of peace and great joy. The equipment, body, senses and the mind has been said in the Upanishads also, how it is very important to give attention to all these things. The senses are the horses. The horses are noted for their strength. They are very active, very restless. They simply want to run. They love to run. They keep on running. The senses too are like that. They run fast. So you must know how to control it. You must have the rein, proper rein. The mind is the rein by which you pull the horses, to give direction to the horses where you want to go. Then the intellect, buddhi, plays a very important role in our life. So buddhi is a charioteer. And who is the rider? The soul, the individual being who is associated with buddhi, manas, senses and the body. And body is the chariot. So each one of you is carrying on the life's journey in the chariot of your body. So you have understood how important it is to control them. The senses, they are very busy pursuing their objects. So the charioteer should hold the reins properly to pull the horses if they become unruly. That means your intellect must be always alert. The charioteer should know very well how to control the horses. The rein, the mind, it is held by the charioteer, the intellect. So, when you follow all this process properly, then you are sure to reach the goal. We are here to achieve our goal of freedom, to enjoy real peace and joy. That is the purpose of our coming into this world. Not to drown ourselves in this world, but to swim across the world joyfully. That's the way. So, to swim across the world joyfully, you need spiritual ideas, you need spiritual practice. So when you try to adopt spiritual practice in your day-to-day life, that means you are stepping into austerity. So you should be careful enough not to allow the senses to do anything what they like. They must obey you properly. What you want, that should be carried on. You should not become the slave of the senses and the mind, vagaries of the mind. So you must always have the upper hand. I must decide whether I want it or not. But always what happens, the force of good, the voice of good is always feeble, very weak. Though always everyone hears that voice. Somehow it flashes to him, but he doesn't give due importance to those ideas those good counsel, and then he will be in dangers. So tapas also means burn. It creates heat. In olden days, ancient times, it was very easy for the people to take to tapas. Immediately, if they want to achieve something, they would go and do tapas. Go to the forest, go to some cave, go to some spiritual resort, and engage himself in austerities. So austerity helps you to concentrate thoroughly. So even the gods in the heaven would be awakened if a person is doing intense tapas in a place. They call it tapojwala. The fire of that austerity, it goes on spreading. So they try to test that person in so many ways, whether he is really determined to follow the tapas or not. When the person is determined, then surely he will get the desired result. So as I said, tapas has the power of burning. Suppose you put the gold in the fire, what will happen? The impurities of the gold are burnt completely. The more you burn the gold in the fire, the more pure it becomes. You will understand more and more the glory of gold. Each time it goes into the fire, more impurities are removed. So, you have to adopt this to your life. How? In the same way, pain and sufferings come to everyone, whether a monk, whether a householder, anybody. Pain and suffering are inevitable, but they come to make your mind more and more strong. They come to strengthen you, not to weaken you. If you don't understand this idea, then instead of becoming strengthened, you become weakened. The more the pain comes, the more suffering comes, you are down with depression. Your personality is destroyed. No. When every time pain or suffering comes, you must be able to withstand them. Rely more upon the spiritual ideas, more upon the invisible power who is controlling everything. That's the way to look at the things. Even Holy Mother, the divine consort of Sri Ramakrishna, she said, the sufferings are blessings in disguise. They have come to burn your all bad propensities. That's one way. Another way is you are burning out the accumulated tendencies of the previous lives. That means you are becoming more and more pure. So austerity refines the person. It is a pointer to one's self-mastery. It is a symbol of non-enslavement to surface emotions and brute urges. So, when a person is really practicing austerity based on spiritual ideas and principles, then such a person rises to a high standard. Why people generally show great reverence to holy people? It is because they are amazed to see the special quality of discipline in the holy people. So, austerity is a purifying agent. It burns up all impurities and tones up this system. Again, in another sutra, Patanjali Maharshi says, Kayendriya siddhir ashuddhikshayat tapasaha. He is telling austerity, it destroys the impurities of body and senses, and it will make you get supernatural powers. You comprehend many things which ordinary people would not. So the more you are disciplined, the more power will be with you. That's the point. So there are various stages in tapas. By the physical tapas of fasting, what you do, you will burn the excess of fat away along with accumulated toxins in the body. So in our Hindu concept, they always prescribe 11 days once practice fasting, 11th day of every month, and repeat divine name, do prayers. Generally they prescribe Ram Nam. In all our Ramakrishna mission centers, we do Ram Nam every 11th day. It's called Ekadashi. So that is the significance. When you fast, your senses are subdued. With the subdued senses, you will be able to concentrate properly on God, and you will be able to understand more spiritual, subtle ideas. So, by mental tapas, you will burn all unwanted inherent tendencies. By the verbal tapas, by observing silence, by controlling your speech, you will be acquiring immense power. So, what is the main purpose of austerity? It will help you to see that lower nature doesn't have its own way and play pranks. As I pointed out earlier, always there are two forces operating. One is the urge to respond to the still small voice, tirelessly counseling high purpose and upward exploration, and the other is the call of the chaos to yield to hellish inducements, to feed the appetite of the flesh, an appetite which grows on what it feeds on. So one's salvation or bondage lies in which of the two forces he chooses to ally himself with. So you must strengthen the force of the good. That's the practice we should undertake. So austerity is of several kinds. It may relate to food, it may relate to clothing, it may relate to sleep, and so on. Austerity may also be practiced in the shape of vow and vigil, penance and continence. So, you aim at body culture as well as at mind culture by practicing austerity. In the Upanishad also it is very clearly said, tapasvadhyaya pravachanabhyam na pramaditavyam. So you have to study the spiritual texts every day. You must not give up the discipline every day the discipline must be followed, then only you will have the effect of it. Another important usefulness of austerity is that it induces the conversion of animal propensity into chastened expressions. It helps the formation of fortitude. So, there are so many ways of practicing it. And coming to the specific point of austerity in our spiritual life, which is rather very difficult, but which is very essential to have the vision of God, and that is all the scriptures of religion declare that you should practice brahmacharya. That means the mind should be kept on the idea of God all the time. You must try to do that. You must not lower the mind any time. That's the way. So, but it is not easy to practice continence in the strict sense. But then they prescribe family life in order to have some kind of control over the lustful tendencies. So, the family life is nothing but a disciplined life. That's why they prescribe you marry and live properly. That is the purpose of family life. Marrying and living a irregular life, that is not the family life. Family life itself means it's a life of discipline, life of austerity. So, you must know the method of living the family life, and you should develop wonderful communication amongst your companions in a very healthy way. All the steps need to be taken, should be strictly followed. Then that will help you greatly. So another important aspect of austerity is that you are not shaken by praise and blame, honor and dishonor, happiness and sorrow. Your mind is one-pointed and always fixed in God. You always love to offer your prayers, love to undertake spiritual activities. So all these come under austerity. There is another expression, that is discriminate between the real and the unreal. So many things we see in this world, but we don't properly analyze the things. We don't use the power of discrimination, so we come into trouble. So the discrimination faculty must be properly toned up. That comes under austerity. Anything that you control, anything that you struggle comes under austerity. And why we say japa, meditation, do it regularly. Why not we do only weekends only? You can do japa only weekends. All the other days you have no time, you have to go for job, you have to earn money, you have to attend to so many things. Only weekends you will do little bit of japa or meditation. No. Austerity means, in spite of all the things what you are doing, you must not neglect this. Do it every day. Doing every day is the austerity. Then only it will have its effect. By constantly repeating Lord's name, by constantly meditating on Him, by constantly praying to Him, you will see how your mind will be uplifted. So Swami Brahmanandaji, one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, who was guided by Sri Ramakrishna, he said, create the desire to chant the name of the Divine Lord. You must create the desire. That's first point. The second point is, you must set the mind in a proper way. Be compassionate. Have that feeling in your mind all the time. That compassionate outlook is very important. And thirdly, serve the holy people. So, create the desire to chant, be compassionate and serve. Then, on 11th day, new moon and or full moon day, take only one meal. That's also good. And again Brahmanandaji says, austerity is based on three principles. The first principle is, you must take refuge in the truth. Truth is a pillar to which you must always hold while performing any action. If you are not adhering to the truth, that means you are going away from the austerity. It is difficult, but you have to practice it. Second principle is, as I said earlier, conquering the lust. It is through lust that we drain out most of our energy and vital force. All the vigor of the mind, vigor of the intellect, vigor of the body, everything is lost through lustful tendencies. So, there's another important principle which you have to follow. All these things are prescribed. Please note, if you are desiring to have the vision of God, you have to have all these principles strictly followed. Without austerity, no spiritual life. Without austerity, no accomplishment. So the third important principle which Swami Brahmanji prescribed, renounce all cravings. Observe these three principles, then you are really practicing the austerity. And the greatest of these is to conquer lust. That's why I told you, family life is one way of controlling the lust. Eventually you have to fully control. That's the point. Even Sri Ramakrishna also tells, after getting one or two children, both husband and wife should live like brother and sister. Both of you can devote whole time on spiritual ideas. Regular spiritual struggle is essential austerity. If you don't keep up a regular spiritual struggle, you will not be able to hold the realization of God when it comes. In Vedanta also, they prescribe austerity. What is the austerity prescribed by the Vedanta? Vedanta is, they prescribe three, Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan, the most famous disciplines they prescribe. Shravan means you must constantly, willingly hear the spiritual ideas. So, as soon as you get up from the bed, after finishing your ablutions, you must hear something that is very noble and good. You must read something immediately, so that the first thought that comes to the mind should be good and noble. That is the meaning of Shravan. Every day you must hold on to that principle of hearing spiritual ideas. I still remember when I joined the monastery in Bangalore, the teacher would come there to teach us Upanishads. The time was morning 6:30. So we should be ready. Finish all your ablutions, everything, and be ready to have that spiritual discussion. A very great Sanskrit Pandit would come and teach us the Upanishads. It was so uplifting. So uplifting. And early hours of the morning, so fresh. Fresh air, fresh sunlight, everything fresh, fresh mind, just got up from the sleep. So, at that time you must feed. Give the good food, spiritual food to the mind. So we used to feel so happy to attend that class. And the teacher would come correct time and start the classes for about 1 hour. Then you go and do any activity afterwards. You are safe. Because the same idea which you have fed in the beginning of the day, that continues the whole day. So, you must cherish that idea in your mind. You must love it. That's very important. Thus, that is the meaning of Shravan. So, all the orthodox institutions in India I have seen, they every day, the first activity is reading of the Upanishads, discussing the spiritual ideas and such things. Even today it is done. The next discipline they prescribe is Manan. What you have read, you must think them over and over again in your mind. How many times we think of worldly things over and over again? Why not we think the spiritual ideas? So you have to struggle. Where the question of struggle comes, that means it's austerity. And the third discipline which they say is nididhyasan. Whatever you have read, whatever you have thought over again and again, you must meditate on that idea. That is, concentrate your mind. Then you will understand the deeper significance of what you had read. So, the more you practice austerities, the more you practice meditation, the more you will enjoy the blessings of God. How do you enjoy the blessings of God? In the form of peacefulness. You will be peaceful. That is the grace of God. The moment you are trying to get peace, that means you are near to God. You are able to catch the wind of grace. That's the point. So, the power of the austerity is limitless. It is a fountain of all virtues. As I told in the beginning also, the spiritual seeker should always think that his body is in the home, but his mind is at the lotus feet of God. So whatever you do, whatever you think, everything must be done with God. Do all worldly duties in an unattached manner, which would make you more and more unselfish. So, one way of practicing selflessness is to associate your mind with spiritual ideas. So they prescribe another discipline of austerity, that is, in order to develop an attitude of non-attachment, which is not easy, what you should do, you must remain in a retreat at least a month in a year. 11 months you are in the world. Is it difficult for you to give 1 month exclusively for spiritual practices? And they say it must be done. That is austerity for the people who are engaged totally in the world. In order not to get lost into the world, spend the time like this 1 month in a year in a retreat. Think only spiritual ideas. Keep all the things away, far away. Use that time for making prayers and pray to Him with yearning heart. And Sri Ramakrishna even tells how to pray. Pray to God, "O God, I have no one in the universe to call my own. All friends and companions are only for a time. You alone are my all in all. So, you will take me across this perilous ocean of samsara." Like that, you pray and your prayer will be fulfilled. Let us study some incidents. Then you will be able to appreciate more the importance of austerity. Master Mahashaya, who recorded Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, he practiced spiritual austerities under Sri Ramakrishna's direct supervision, direct guidance. So, one day, Sri Ramakrishna saw him meditating in a place at Dakshineshwar. Sri Ramakrishna came there and said, "Oh, you are here." He was very much pleased to see that Master Mahashaya has come there and sit for meditation and doing it sincerely. Sri Ramakrishna appreciated it and he made a significant remark. He said, "Very good, you will get the results very soon." And he said further, "If you practice a little bit more, continue this austerity a little bit more, then someone will come forward to help you." Sri Ramakrishna, you must know how much austerities he practiced and how he got tremendous help from so many quarters. Even the gurus came in search of him. The disciple was not to run after the search of the teachers. That was the quality of Sri Ramakrishna. All the spiritual teachers came to him and they would teach him and he would master it in a short time. So his power of austerity was so great, he could attract. Simply, if he desires in the mind, that desire is immediately fulfilled. That is the power of austerity or tapas. So he appreciated the Master Mahashaya and said, "The time is ripe for you. The mother bird does not break the shell of the egg until the right time arrives." So these words gave Master Mahashaya tremendous encouragement. When he heard these words from Sri Ramakrishna, tears of joy were flowing through his eyes. He felt immensely blessed. Once, Master Mahashaya asked Sri Ramakrishna what meditation on the formless God was like. The Master told him, you see, one should practice spiritual austerities to understand this correctly. Suppose there are treasures in a room. If you want to see them and lay hold of them, you must take the trouble of getting the key and unlock the door. After that, you must take the treasures out. But suppose the room is locked, and standing outside the door, you say to yourself, here I have opened the door. Now I have broken the lock of the chest. Now I have taken out the treasure. Simply if you talk this way, such brooding near the door will not enable you to achieve anything. So you must practice austerities. That is how Sri Ramakrishna impressed upon Master Mahashaya the importance of austerity. Another devotee, his name Durgacharan Nag, a very fine devotee, his whole life was a life of austerity. From the stage of boyhood till the end, it is a continuous life of austerity. That means his mind was always on God. So, what he did in his younger days, a boy, little boy, after was very far away, 20 miles away from the home, and he had no financial facilities. He was very poor. So naturally, the people in the home, they discouraged him. Well, don't worry about going to school anymore. What all you have learned now is enough for you. You just help us in doing things in the home, and you learn something of agriculture, etc., and so on. Anyway, they didn't encourage him to venture going to school, etc. But why these people told like that? They knew it was very hard. It was a terrible hardship for the boy. But the boy's stature was different. He was determined. He said, I must join this school. I must go. Don't worry about me. I will walk 20 miles every day. Every day he would walk back and forth 20 miles. Just for going to school. And he did like that. 15 months in chilling rain and scorching heat, he patiently walked back and forth the 20 miles. So what prompted him to do that? His thirst for knowledge was so great that he did not mind the physical discomforts. So that's very important. He was thirsting after knowledge. I want knowledge. So nothing was difficult for him. And he was prepared to undergo any difficulties because he was so much yearning to acquire knowledge. That kind of yearning we must have regarding spiritual matters. Then you will see nothing is difficult for you. So strong determination is one of the factors of austerity. Strong determination. That is why we always say, follow the instructions of the spiritual masters thoroughly, so that you will be able to fulfill your goal. So longing, earnestness, all these things will come if you prepare the mind properly well. So everything is in your hands. Everything is in your hands. You alone have to struggle for whatever you want. Whatever you want you can achieve, but the struggle must be done by yourself. The teachers may come, the holy people may come, but they all help you only. But you have to walk. You have to go forward. You should not stop. Keep on walking. Never stop. Keep on walking. That is the austerity. So, if you understand austerity in this way, your life will be really wonderful. Everything you should analyze it and pursue it with strong determination. Always think of God. He is not far away from you. He is in your own heart, shining in all its glory. We are not able to see that glory because the mind is impure. So the impurities must be removed. That's all that needs to be done. So removing the impurities is not an easy task, so you have to undertake austerity. That is why all the spiritual teachers again and again they prescribe this. So you must cherish the desire for higher life. Cherish the desire for higher life. This life is not everything. After all, how many years we will stay on in this world? Nobody can say. It's very fragile. Nobody can say. So, always prepare for the higher life. When the opportunity is given, use it properly. To use it properly, austerity is required. Tapas, that's a Sanskrit word. It is not simply mortification of the body. It is properly organizing yourself. Organize it and then enjoy the life properly. God wants every one of us to live in a happy way. So you must know the technique and live the life. Once you know the technique, once you are determined, once you are strong, then you can face any storm in life. That strength is only spiritual strength. A man who is spiritually strong is not shaken by the whole world. He can face the whole world in opposition. Nobody can shake him. The person who wants to shake him runs back himself shaken. So, that is the power of spiritual strength. That is the power of austerity. Let us try to understand its supreme importance and apply it in our life and become more and more peaceful and joyful. With these words, I conclude my talk. Thank you all. Anavavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Tat Sat. May the Lord protect us, nourish us. May we work in harmony with great vigor. May our study be illuminating and fruitful. May we not hate each other. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.